Mercy. Are we on? Well, how the heck are you? How do you do, Beth Cruz? This is Tommy Beer Whisperer. I'm having a morning or an afternoon. I guess it's almost 2 o'clock. I tried to do a video earlier. I was talking about some things that were bothering me, and and then it wouldn't work. I think my computer got too hot. I had it out in the sun, and it got too hot, and it locked up on me, and I couldn't get it to stop. So I ended up just having to delete that one because it got all messed up at the end. So I always say I never script anything. Everything's off the cuff. So of course I didn't have anything written down, but I did delete that video. I'm going to try to repeat some of the same things I just said. So, anyways, it won't be exactly the same because now after that happened, my perspective is now different. You see, I got a little upset when I shouldn't have because it wouldn't work. So I got inside. I had to get to but I think it got too hot because once the computer cooled down, then it started working again. But it locked up on me and it wouldn't let me. Well, I hit stop broadcast, but for some reason it wouldn't stop. But wasn't recording either. It just had this blue screen going on. So I don't know what was going on. So anyway, so I just popped a Piney River Hobby Farm Honey Basil Ale. So I'm going to use my Brick Street Brews glass. As you can see, if you were paying attention there, that I actually already used this big glass to have. I drank one during the last video. So anyway, that's still poured very nice there. I know it's a no-no for some folks. Relax. It was the same beer that was in there. I ain't sweating it. Beautiful aromas of basil and honey going through this. Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about grief, dealing with grief. My son Seamus, watch me, don't watch me. It doesn't matter. This has always been my coping mechanism. The problem is it's just not working like it once did, and I don't know if anything's going to work. To be honest with you, I just been having a hard time. Both my wife and I have really been struggling. My wife's birthday was yesterday. Of course, Mother's Day is just past. It's just the holidays are just brutal. My birthday's on Tuesday, and we're both struggling. I mean, I'm going to admit something here that some would say don't do it, but I'm going to. I have these same dreams every night, and they're basically various situations of what I possibly could have done different with Seamus. We're dealing with his leukemia. Should we have done homeopathic? Uh, could we have taken him somewhere else? Could we have done this or that? The problem is, in my dreams, the outcome is always the same. And for the last 3 years, at some point during the night, I always wake up crying during the night, and it's just getting to where, I mean, I'm lucky if I sleep 2 hours at a stretch anymore. It's just rough. So and then I have to, I put on my work face when I go to work, and I pretend everything's fine. And then, I do this. I do these videos, where I become the beer whisperer, which is basically me, but it's a slightly exaggerated version. And most folks understand what I'm doing. I have irritated some folks over the years that have unfriended or unfollowed or whatever the social media calls for, because in their eyes, I went too far this way or that way. Some don't understand, but the folks that are really friends kind of got what I was doing and why I was doing it. But for those that I've offended, I can't help that. Trip anyways. It's not my fault that you get your knickers in and out because somebody disagrees with your politics or whatever the case may be because you don't like a joke this way or that way. What offends you, I can't help that. But anyway, yeah, there's a few things I said in the last video that I'm not going to repeat now because it just doesn't matter. I just wanted to do a video where I can just kind of just say some things, and maybe I'm done now. Who knows? It's honey basil ale. Seamus was always been tough for my wife. This is the first year she's really tried to garden since we lost Seamus because it's something they always did together. Seamus and my wife always, kind of planned the herbs we did. He loved basil. In fact, we did several varieties of basil. Um, I'm going to assume this uses sweet basil, although it doesn't say, because that's usually what's used. And we grew sweet basil, but there are other varieties he really enjoyed. He really loved Thai basil. I use a lot of Thai basil in cooking. There's a variety called cinnamon basil that's very nice. And even when he was very little, when we were doing the gardening, he would come out and he would pull a leaf right off the plant and he'd just start eating it. He just loved basil. So, anyways, it's one reason I decided to pop this one because it had basil in it. And I just picked it up yesterday. It's very fresh. It was canned on 5/9. So I mean, it's not even 2 weeks old. Of course, it's not a hoppy variety, so that's rather inconsequential. But still, for those of you that care about such things, it's very fresh, man. I actually told a couple of friends I was going to send them a can, but um, between yesterday and today, I've kind of gone through my forks. I drank two of them yesterday, two today, man. So now I've got to go buy another 4-pack so I can get it off to some friends. Grief is a tricky thing. Not saying works for everybody. So sometimes I get frustrated when some folks say, well, you should do this. This works or that works. Well, you can't tell me what works. You can tell me what may have worked for you, and maybe I'll try it. But there isn't one thing that works. You should read this book, or you should read that book, or you should do this, or you should do that. I've tried different things, okay? I've probably read the book you're going to suggest. I've probably tried the method you're going to suggest. Not everything is, it's not a one size fits all process. And I think that's the part that frustrates me. The line, and I've said this before, I did a video on it specifically. I know how you feel just me all sorts of the wrong way because nobody knows how I feel any more than I know how you feel. Even if we went through something similar, I don't know how you feel. I wish folks would just stop saying that altogether because nobody ever knows. You can say, I empathize with you or I feel for you, but don't say I know how you feel because nobody ever knows how somebody else feels. It's just a stupid thing to say. And nobody should ever say it, but people still do. I try not to get upset. I've gotten to where though I'm so frustrated with the line that I've gotten to where when somebody says that to me, I just shut down and walk away. I'm not going to get nasty. I'm not going to throw a punch at you. Not yet, anyway. I'm not to that point, but I am at the point where I can't deal with you anymore. Once you've said that to me, it tells me you don't care what I'm saying. You want to make it about you. So I just shut down and I walk away from that situation. And I think that's the that some folks just miss. Sometimes you just need to get things out of your system. I know most of my family doesn't really enjoy me talking about it because it's hard for them to listen to. But sometimes you've got to say it. So it's sometimes and again, sometimes it's just uncomfortable for folks to be around you. And I've kind of learned how to deal with that. It kind of felt like folks were abandoning us, but really it was just as hard for them. They didn't know how to approach us. They didn't know what to say. So I've kind of learned how to deal with that, or tried to learn how to deal with that, not take it personally, because it is hard for folks. He was such an amazing guy too. I mean, Seamus really was. Of course, everybody feels that way about it, but I mean, Seamus really was that guy. He was that guy who could have made a difference. I mean, he never day of school up until he, got leukemia. I mean, had the perfect immune system until he had that. And I think that's the part that I'm struggling to wrap my brain around. How can you have the best immune system to having no immune system? That's the part that struggles. And I think I certainly blame. I don't know if I don't know if I say this exactly the right way. I looking at certain situations. Did I somehow cause this? I mean, I was cleaning carpets at the time. I don't know if a chemical I used might have done something. And the problem is that you can't get an answer from anybody. Nobody knows if it's environmental. Nobody knows if it's genetic. There isn't anything definitive one way or the other. There was a point, right? I've said several times, we never accept that we were going to lose up until the point where it became inevitable that that's what was going to happen. He was getting better right up until things just went, extremely south. So we're, considered that until it became that option. And then when there was another, he was at Children's in St. Louis, which are doctors. He was getting great care. But then they made phone calls when they were out of options to get him somewhere else, and then we were denied. They don't have the obligation to put somebody like Seamus in study that's that's already underway, but they have the ability in what's called compassionate use to allow them to use the method. In even our situation, we were losing Seamus. We were going to lose him. And as hospital that people donate, you know, that every time I see a commercial for this particular organization, my mind just gets the thoughts in my head, because I just despise the organization now, because they claim to do so much good, and they do, but they don't mention that they can also refuse to help you, and in our case, they refuse to help. Again, I reiterate, they weren't under any obligation to help. He did not qualify for the study, but they do have the ability to let us use, or let the hospital we were at, use it for compassionate use. And we were at that stage. There was nothing. I mean, it probably wouldn't have worked anyway, but we were our last option, and they turned us down. So I will not send it to that organization. It burns me to this day. Obviously, I'm angry. I'm angry every day. Every day I have these thoughts. I just can't, every time I see a commercial for them, they're all over the place. Every time I see a commercial for them telling us how wonderful they are, I think, yeah, you just keep believing that. I mean, they have done some great work, and I can't take that away from them. But they can do more than they're doing. I just, how many people other than Seamus I turned down when they could have helped. And I think that, if Seamus's dad, was somebody else, if she had a rich dad, he would have got that help. And that's the part that burns me the most. We are a country that could help people. We are a country that wants to be compassionate, and we are. We are a country that could help people, that could give help to everybody, but we choose to spend money where it doesn't need to be. We choose to give subsidies. We choose to spend money on the on wars we do need to be in. We talk about free stuff. We're not just talking about free stuff. We're talking about redirecting the money. How about we do something? How about we actually walk the walk? How about we become the country we claim to be? Since I kid going to school, we claim to be the compassionate country, and we are not. We only care about if you have money, and that's the part that pisses me off. No damn. That Seamus could have been. I don't know if he could have been, but there was that possibility that we'll never know, because that organization to help him. And I can't help but think that if Seamus's dad was somebody famous or rich or both, he would have gotten that help. That they wouldn't have made it, and that will burden me right into my last breath. I swear to God, I don't know how to get over that feeling that somebody helped my son and they chose not to. So there you go. It's been a pleasant upbeat video. Yeah. So yes, I have some anger issues. I do, and I don't. It may help to see a professional, and I may have to do that at some point, because what I'm doing now isn't working as well as it once did. I'm struggling to find balance to get through each. To be honest with you, I struggle to get up every morning. I just tried to the end of the day so I can go, even though I know I'm not going to sleep. I just want to try to turn it off for as long as I can, even if it's just for a couple hours at a time, even though at some point I know I'm going to have these dreams that just wake me up. I wake up sweating profusely, wake my crying at least one time every night the last 3 years. And I don't know if there's a way out. I don't know if there's a way through. And like I said, I've tried various things. I've read books. I've this. I've done that, and I've kind of used this as my sounding board. But I'm not sure if there is ever going to be a way where I can find a way to make peace with what happened, because it shouldn't have happened. Seamus shouldn't have got sick. We shouldn't have lost him. Something should have happened along the way. And the fact that this organization that everybody seems to love claims to do so many great things, had the ability to do more, and they chose not to. That's the part that will burn me to the very. Oh yeah, so there you go. So I'm having a Piney River change of subject, Tom. So yes, I have to do these videos every once in a while just to get stuff out. It is my wife and we get along most of the time, but we're both at different places in the grief process. So sometimes the place where she's at, where I'm at, is not where she's at. So we both struggle telling each other sometimes because, you know, we're always worried that it's going to bother the other one. That's difficult. She's really been struggling lately. Mother's Day is just, her birthday was yesterday. I mean, she's just been having a heck of a time. So when things bother me, I try not to bother her with it because I know she's going through it. I know she's having difficulties. She's gone through a lot lately with, she had a clone that just betrayed the heck out of her. Yeah, that's another story. But I mean, on top of everything she's been through, and this person knows what she was going through and still stabbed her in the back, betrayed her. It's very frustrating to watch that happen. I mean, I couldn't do anything to stop it other than be there. But you always think people, both my wife and I have tried to give folks the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes you can see an wreck happening, but you can't do anything to stop it, and that's kind of what happened. I kind of warned her along the way that something was gonna. I just had a didn't have anything I could prove. I just had a feeling, and sure enough, it went down just about how I predicted. But because of that, and you know, and her birthday and mother's, you know, she's this person knew better, and she should have treated my wife better after what my wife had done for her, especially knowing what she was through at the time. It was just difficult. This is an interesting beer. Again, you can feel just a hint of honey sweetness. You really the basil though. You get more on the nose, and actually on the flavor, you feel it more as it warms up. And even though this is a summer beer that's fine cold, as it warms closer to about 50 to 55 degrees, as I let this warm, I really feel more basil, and where I feel it is and where you would pick up hops typically. It just helps finish everything up, and dry everything off right at the end is what I meant to say. So, anyways, in conclusion, I got a burp here. Excuse me. For you that have left us along the way for whatever reason, I mean, I can't what lack of character or integrity you have. So I'm gonna try to have any ill will towards you. You know, we all do what we do to survive. If your way is being a hateful, evil person, I guess I can't help that. But if you're a disgusting that lacks integrity, well, there you go. Good riddance to you. I didn't need you anyway. But for those of you that have stuck me, hey, and my wife and I, through everything, that understand what we're through, that kind of understood when I seemingly went too far as the beer was. Hey, I want to thank all of you that stuck with me. Those of you that didn't, there you go. I've already said my piece about. It's a fine get a chance to pick Hobby Farm from whatever. Again, I don't isn't just to make clear, this isn't one of those crazy retirement videos were just so ridiculous. Retiring from doing a hobby. You don't retire from a hobby, you just quit doing it. Oh, I'm not stopping. I hope to irritate folks way into my old age. But it was just one of those videos I felt I had to do. I had some things I had to get off my chest. Sometimes I do these videos in extreme frequency. I just do a whole bunch at one time. And then sometimes I stop for a few weeks. It doesn't usually seem like because I don't put them all out at once. So there's always videos. Right now, I'm probably about 2 weeks behind. So there are videos coming out, and people think, "Oh, that was yesterday." But sometimes I go 2 or 3 weeks without even doing one. So, anyways, thanks those that stick with me. I appreciate everything. I will try to hang on as long as I can. It's time to Beer Whisperer. Very much by now. Oh shit. Why won't you let me? I'm not trying to join. I'm trying to stop it. Pearl. Just beyond frustrating. Well, Buckaroo. I don't know, I keep having this same issue. I keep trying to, I hit broadcast and for some reason it doesn't. So there are some there for a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. Anyway, I'm going to try not to get about it. Just saw me. So, anyways, hey, know I have these technical difficulties. They're just not very tech savvy. So, anyways, as I try to sign her for real this time, thank you all that have by me. Thanks to all my friends that do have integrity. I appreciate all of you.